Hello and welcome to episode 64 of Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry. I want to dive right into today's interview with Avi Friedman, who's a member of our community here at Learn, Do, Become, and who has been a part of our Steps to Everyday Productivity program for a few months now. He is so inspiring. I've actually just went into our Facebook group and was looking at all the posts he's been putting up, and I re-listened to part of this podcast, which we recorded a few weeks ago, so I could record this intro, and I cannot wait for you to listen. If you feel like you have 46 reminders popping up on your phone and you have tons of things that you need to do and things are slipping through the cracks and you feel like you are overwhelmed by all the details of life, you need to hear Avi's story. I can't wait. So I'm going to let you dive right in. And for links and information and details, come to learndobecome.com/episode 64. So excited. We're just going to jump right in. Okay. All right. Enjoy. Welcome, Avi. We're so excited to be able to talk with you today.
Oh, thanks so much. A pleasure to be here, really.
Usually when we are starting out talking with our community members about their amazing success, we want to be able to dive into what your pain point was prior to coming and joining with our community, and just want to hear a little bit about your journey. We're here just today to learn, where were you? Where are you now? How'd you get there? And for people right now who want to get out of that drowning, they don't want to be drowning in details of life, they want to be moving forward, we want them to be able to come up with some really simple ways to apply what you share today. So we'll just turn over to you. Can you start telling us about your story?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. So basically it started, I would say about a year ago. I'm working full time. I also have a wife and two daughters, which is another full-time job.
Yeah.
And I was also teaching on Sunday school. I was also in college twice a week for a change of career. And at a certain point, I decided I was going to also become a health coach. And that's something that really intrigued me about being able to, because I had my own health transformation, my own journeys. I wanted to pay that forward and as well to be able to supplement my income. And I reached a point, there was one semester that was really challenging in terms of trying to coordinate different assignments, I had to interview different kids for a school psychology different tests and assessments. And I realized at a certain point that it was like, there's no way I can have everything all scheduled. I'm just all over the place. I'm going to miss all my deadlines. I'm going to get to a certain point where I realize that it's too much and way too overwhelming for me. Mm-hmm. So I had seen a Learn to Become post on a Facebook ad or something along those lines. A friend of mine who liked the page, and I spoke to her afterwards. She doesn't even remember the program, but she's like, she liked the page. So it was perfect. Yeah, sure. So I found the webinar of the free class, and I looked at it and I realized that there's so much information in there that I could really get everything organized in a way where I feel like I'm not missing anything. I'm not missing deadlines. So that was really huge for me in terms of breaking through for productivity. So originally I just did the free class, and I realized that there was so much more, and it would be a huge investment in myself to be able to have everything organized and scheduled. So I did at first I did the basic level program, but I that was amazing. I loved the Command Central. It really got everything organized in a way where I felt nothing was going to fall through the cracks. But I wanted a little bit more, and I also saw a lot of postings about like the community and how much that is a huge part of the program. So I felt, I have to jump right in. So,
and they're so nice, don't you think?
Yes, for sure. Everyone's very encouraging. I got a lot of helpful feedback in terms of things I was doing and ideas I was trying to figure out. And I wanted a way to maximize my utilizing the program. So I went to the mastery, and now I'm able to really just ask any questions. Like I had a question about how to handle business cards. I had a question about how to handle different types of appointments, and just having that forum to be able to ask people about how to process different things was a life changer. And it really gave me that ability I got through that semester. Thank God I got good grades that semester. I was able to handle my coaching business. My family didn't feel like I was neglecting them at all. All the different deadlines I had were pretty much all met. I might have missed one or two things, but considering everything I was going through, it was...
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's huge.
Okay, so just putting myself into the mind of someone listening right now, I might be thinking, okay, so you had all this stuff and you were feeling overwhelmed, then you came into a program and now everything's going well. Like,
Exactly.
so
Well, you had all this stuff on your pile, right? You decided to put one more thing on that pile. How did you
Right.
put that extra thing on your pile into it, and how did it kind of help, kind of clear the way for these things to happen for you?
Sure. So actually, it's funny. The first 2 or 3 days that I signed up, that like every single spare minute I have, I was just going through the program. It's
yeah.
one of those like 2 or 3 day marathons, just running through the modules. I just figure like I need something. I just need that clarity, so I'm just like
Yeah.
running right through it. But within those 2 days, I realized how I started delegating even just my emails. So the emails to zero, and I think the biggest change for me was I had all these things on my to-do list that were less than 2 minutes that it would take to do it,
Oh,
and the
good.
2 minute rule really cleared up probably a quarter of my to-do list of
Oh
things. So
wow.
emails to send, a bill to pay, a quick call I had to make, and just putting something on my calendar. So that 2 minute rule really just blew a quarter to half of my to-do list.
Well, that
Um,
builds momentum, right?
Absolutely. And then I did a brain dump also, a mind sweep for all the different ideas.
Yeah.
Just got everything out, and it was so relaxing having that idea that I know when I need to do things, and
Mm-hmm.
I have X amount of time to do X amount of projects.
Mm-hmm.
So just having that ability to delegate to the side. And my wife was asking me, "Oh, did you take care of this?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I actually have it on my calendar for the middle of next month. I'm going to take care of that."
That's awesome. And then your wife's fine with that. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be done right this minute, but knowing that you've got it, then she can relax and be like, all right, Avi's got it.
Right, exactly. And there are a lot of times where she would um, ask me if I had paid, let's say, paid a certain our lawn guy. If I paid him, I said I actually have it on my calendar. It's going to be when I get home, and I have that in my checkbook. Then I'm going to write out the check and send it to him. So just having that clarity of knowing when I'm going to do what really made all the difference.
Well, I love you mentioned the power of the 2 minute rule there, because I think it's something most humans, we realize that we've heard it probably all before and it makes a lot of sense, but I'm even very bad at always following through on that. But you think about how much time you actually give up if you don't do the thing in 2 minutes. How many minutes do you totally spend wasted over weeks and weeks? You spend 2 minutes thinking and worrying about it until you put it off aside. Then it comes
Yes.
back and it's 2 more minutes wasted on the worry.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like every 2 minute task really costs us like 20 or 30 minutes per task, and just wasted worry energy, and it still didn't get done. So just take the 2 minutes and do the thing. And I love also, you like, the whole program, the training we teach is broken into what we call microbursts. And it sounds like you just dove in and just did microburst after microburst for as long as you could, or as long as you had time on each of those days. But you just made little stepwise progress moving forward. I love hearing that. That's so awesome.
Right, and I had a long commute to work. I changed my job, but I had a long commute to work, and I would just plan the videos accordingly. There was a 20-minute video. I'm like, okay, on my drive, I have the first stop. I'm gonna play that video. If I have to pull over to the side, play the next video to be able
That's
to
awesome.
to get through it. Just to get that clarity, it was a game changer.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I want to go back a little bit to prior to you joining STEP and going through this program. How were you managing? Because you were managing. I mean, you were in school. You'd arranged to sign up for school. You started a business. You'd had your own transformation. You're managing a family. You've got a job. I mean, you were doing it. You were doing enough to stay afloat, right? Like keep your head above
Right.
water. But what were you doing then? Like, how were you making it happen? Were you using a calendar? Were you using just a long task list?
So I was using a calendar like haphazardly. I would put some stuff on it, some stuff I would just forget to put on.
Mhm.
I would a lot of times I would have like put the reminder app on the iPhone. I would
Okay.
have a reminder set, but I would have 45 reminders do each day. And I look at the reminders. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, which of them can I do today? No,
Not
I'll pass
overwhelming at
on.
all.
I'll pass on 30 of them. Maybe the other 10 I'll get to, or whatever it was. And it was just like constantly like trying to fight fires and trying to whatever is like the top priority
Yeah.
that someone all of a sudden brought to my attention. I'm just going to jump on that, and everything else would just fall by the wayside.
Okay, because what you're just saying is what I've heard from so many people, in that when you would say, well, so what did you work on that day? Or how would you decide what to work on? I've heard people say just whatever's screaming the loudest, or
Mhm.
whatever my last meeting told me to do. So it's like just
100%.
just kind of working. And so you're busy, you're probably moving around a lot, probably not getting a whole lot of rest and relaxation because you have a burden of you want to provide for your girls, you want to, provide for your wife. And you're probably thinking like, this is pretty hard. So can you tell us a little bit about what your stress level was like or what was going on inside your head during all this?
Yes. I think my stress was, it depended on the day, depending on if there's something I had missed. I had missed a few deadlines for different assignments the class before, and I had to email the professor like, oh, can I get an extension and things like that. So that was, you never know with different professors how they'll handle that. Different bills, I would just like, okay, I don't have the time to pay it now. I'll just put it in that pile. And next thing you know, I look through the pile 2 weeks later and it's overdue. So then you have to deal with calling the company and paying the late fees and things like that. And when it would take much less time to just do it right away, depending on the thing, especially bill paying, because if you're dealing with 10, 15 different services, whether utilities and credit cards and things like that, instead of calling the company for 20 minutes and trying to find a representative that will waive the late fee, it's such a different game.
I think we've all been there, done that, right?
Right. And I think then like the satisfaction level on your days is so frustrating when you're thinking, I could have just, avoided all this. But at the same time, you can't handle everything that's coming at you because you're handling all the stuff that you missed before. And so it just becomes this cycle where it's like, I can never get ahead because I'm trying to catch up and move forward and get my feet under me.
And can I throw a quick idea to our listeners here? Just a little tip that might be helpful to people. Like one thing we've taught in our prior classes, I don't know if we still teach it much, but just the idea on bill pay, for example, trying to get it to all fall as close to the same time or date as possible so you're not feeling that stress all throughout a month.
Yeah, what do you do?
So I've actually kind of called each of our providers. We have like 6 or 7 utilities or different bills we pay pretty consistently. And I just reached out to them all once and tried to figure out if I could get the due date to be as close to the 15th, for example, or just after it as possible. And then my calendar trigger is just I pay bills on the 15th and I pay mortgage or rent on the 1st of the month. That way it kind of even flows out the finances and cash flow and stuff based on paychecks or pay periods. But it's been really helpful because then I can sit down on my computer for 10 minutes, knock out the 6 or 7 bills in 10 to 15 minutes, and none of them are ever going to be late. And I don't have to be scrambling on it. But that's just a thought for not just for Avi, but for everyone listening, if that's helpful. Because when you have different deadlines all throughout the month, that's 7 to 10 different due dates and deadlines and utilities or bills that have to be paid. If you can just say, okay, this is my day, I go through and get into all my accounts, log in, pay them all, then the rest of the month, I'm good till the 15th of the next month. I don't need to worry about them anymore. So just a thought.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I would love to talk about how this has gone into your business as well.
Yeah.
I love the post that you put in our Facebook group where you're like, I followed up with 3 clients last night because I was organized enough to do it. So I just want to hear how this helps you impact a business and how it maybe opens your vision for what you can do in your business as well.
Right. No, for sure. So actually I was thinking about, recently I was taking my daughter for swimming lessons, and the first lesson, and it struck me, the first lesson they teach is a life safety skills where you have to be able to prevent yourself if you fall into the pool, God forbid, and you have to save yourself. That's really the first lesson before you can progress and start swimming, actually making progress in the pool. So I actually thought of that parable as interesting that first you have to be able to get yourself afloat before you can make any progress. So that was huge in terms of being able to make progress with clients, be able to make progress with my own personal transformation. I have to be able to be the right state of mind to be able to stay afloat when everything's hitting you, when feel like you're drowning, and then you can start making progress after that. So that really spoke to me when I was watching her do the swimming lessons. So I think there was a few different aspects that really helped me with that. Mostly was the context next action list, because I had a certain person that I would meet every week. I would bump into him, and I was trying to speak to him about the program. I know he expressed interest at one point. I never followed up. And then I finally decided, I'm going to put it on my context next action based action list. So next time I go to that specific location, I'll reach out to him and ask him about the program. And that really helped me generate that conversation to be able to help him get healthy as well. In terms of who to call, like I posted on the group, there was I was in rush hour, I think it was either an accident or rush hour traffic, And I made 9 phone calls that I had been putting off because I had it on my context list of next actions of when I have time at the phone, I'll give a call to these different people. Little things like that enabled me to plan ahead, and also for following up with people. Like a lot of people, they want to get healthy, they want to learn more about the program, but then life happens, they get busy, I get busy. To be able to have a calendar that's both time and day specific, or just day specific, to be able to reach out to them the next week. Like I just spoke to someone today. He told me to call him next week, so I spoke to him this morning. And otherwise, if I didn't have that calendar with the follow-up system to be able to follow up properly, then all these different things would fall through the cracks. And I'm also backtracking all the things that fell through the cracks a year ago, trying to reinvigorate those and reach out to those people again.
You have no idea, Avi, how much you're making April's day right here. Like,
oh
she
my
just
gosh.
like music to her.
Well, just like 2 quick examples. In our own company, our customer service team works out of Asana. We all use, and for people who are listening, are always wondering what that was. ASANA, Asana.com. It's free software you can start with, super awesome. But what she does is anytime there's a customer who says something like, oh, I'm changing my credit card in a month, can you follow up with me? Or I think I want to do the program, but I've got this thing in the fall, can you, whatever. So there's all kinds of little issues or things you might need to check on in a week to make sure that worked. Or, hey, want to make sure your bill gets done correctly, we'll follow up with you. But when you're working with a lot of different people, it is hard to juggle all that. And there's no way you can keep it in your head ever, because you've got all these emails. So what she does is has a little section in Asana where she keeps track of customer service follow-ups. She puts their email address in just as the name of the task. And then in the details section, she just identifies, here's what we need to talk to them about, creates a little calendar deadline. And then every day when she opens Asana, it's like, here's the people to follow up with, here's all their information, and she can just go do it. So no one slips through the cracks in our company. But then on the other side of things, there was a girl who wanted me to be on her podcast. And it was like, oh, it's a bad time. Can you contact me in a few months? So a few months later, an email pops up from her. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I still can't do it. A couple months later, another email. Like, she's one of our STEP students. And so she kept putting the calendar trigger in and kept following up with me. And finally, I was like, okay, let's just schedule this, because clearly you're so organized that you're not going to forget about me. And so I think sometimes it's not that, I didn't want to do the podcast with her. It's just that there was a lot happening and I couldn't prioritize that. And I think it's the same thing in any business. If someone's interested and they genuinely want to learn about it, sometimes it's not the right time. And so if you have that follow-up scheduled, you can relax because you're not stressed. And then they're going to be super impressed because like, oh, Avi just called me and he said he was going to, and he did. If I can trust him in making an appointment, I bet I could trust him with helping me to get results in my life. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Any thoughts that come to mind?
Definitely. Yeah. It's really, I remember seeing some study somewhere that like with businesses in general, it takes like 7 to 8 follow-ups before people close on a client. Yeah. And I've seen with different people. Obviously, some people are right on the trigger, just get me signed up. And other people just, sometimes they drag their feet because life happens or they just don't want to commit. But if you're persistent and you're, obviously if you're genuine and not trying to stalk them, but if you follow up in a consistent and genuine way, then they reach out to you.
Yeah. And I think that's partly how I feel about what we're doing with our STEP program. Is I just think, you know what, it's not time for everyone right now to come right in and join. And that's totally okay. In fact, we told Avi before, this isn't a commercial for STEP. We're not asking you to try to sell our program. We just want to be able to bring value to the people who are in our community. But my hope is that if we keep talking about it and keep sharing success stories and keep showing people, and we're improving it behind the scenes and doing all we can, then eventually people are going to be like, okay, seriously, there must be something going on here. Because if you keep talking about it for like 10 years,
they'll get the excitement, they'll find the commitment, they'll take the step forward. One of my favorite parts, we teach our live class, a few times a week. We love having people come onto the class saying, oh, I've been on this class actually once before, and I've listened to like a lot of your podcasts. I mean, there's, like you said, these multiple points of exposure. Whenever we offer or promote the program, it isn't with any kind of a push or expectation that people have to join. It just really is everybody in the right time, in the right season or moment in their life. Situation is severe enough or dire enough where they want to make these changes. But I love watching people who have been around us for months or even years saying, okay, it's finally time for me to do it. I finally got things worked out. My life situation is this. I have the money now. I'm ready. And it's just fun to welcome these people in who've been hopefully nurtured over time to be making little progress, little steps. And I love your story too, how you kind of found us. You went to the free class, took those 4 steps that we taught and started using those. You're like, you know what, this is making a difference. You went to self-study, it sounds like, and then you're like, you know, but I want more, the community, the support. So it's just fun to watch people kind of progressively become more engaged and get better and better results with the program.
So I would love to talk a little bit about where you're wanting to go now, kind of how your vision for your life is changing. Because as you're talking about getting everything settled so you can stay afloat, now let's talk about progress. I would love to be able to talk about how your vision's expanding, what you're working towards, what you're excited about personally and professionally, kind of like what you feel is possible, maybe now that you didn't think was possible a while ago when you were so overwhelmed. And also, maybe while you're thinking for a moment, I want to just highlight for our listener what Avi's already taught, just a few things you could apply today. So we talked about this 2-minute rule, right? Where something takes 2 minutes or less, you just do it. You don't write it down. You don't postpone it. He talked about this context-based next actions list, where it's a simple list organized by where you are when you're doing things like phones. When I'm in traffic, I can make all these phone calls. If you're in a specific place, running an errand, or at the computer, at your house, how you can organize tasks by where you are when you're doing it. And then we've also just talked about being able to now not try to work on every project at the same time, right? But being able to really focus on what he's doing and be able to identify, okay, what do I need to put in place so I can feel like I've got my feet under me and feel really good? And then I can grow and build into something else. I mean, those are just a few concepts that anybody listening, you can think about your life and think, okay, I could do a little bit more of that. But yeah, I just like to turn it over to you, because I know a lot of people who come to Learn to Become want more for their life, but don't believe it's possible. And I know that's changing for you.
Right. No, for sure. So, and again, because I've been able to think more clearly about different projects and different endeavors, definitely being able to expand my business. And I've actually reached out to different organizations, tried to give free classes or free webinars, or just workshops for parents to keeping healthy kids, or for people that are taking care of loved ones and self-care for them. So to be able to expand and not just work with one-on-one with clients, but to really to reach a broad spectrum. And unfortunately, in some circles, it's not really talked about enough in terms of, like, obviously there's all these fad diets in terms of lose weight quick. But even if you do lose weight quick, what do you do after that? How do you really maintain a system for keeping healthy for long term? So to be able to provide a lot of resources for different people that are looking for that, that's a huge game changer, because I know it literally changed my life. I was 270 pounds, and my doctor told me when I was 18, I was 3 years away from a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
And to be able to take that and transform my life, utilizing different habits of health, to be able to take that and run with it. And now 10 years later, I'm a health coach and helping other people transform their lives.
Cool.
It's a huge passion of mine. So I'm very excited about that. So to be able to spread that to as many people as I can, as well as be able to build my business in a way where I'll be able to provide more for my family, go on extra special trips, because vacations are not always, you're not always able to afford the vacation you want to. So to be able to, like, I have relatives in overseas. I want to be able to take my kids to meet their relatives that they've never been able to meet them before, because it's a huge trip. So to be able to reach that would be a game changer for me. So that's something I'm really excited about, and that's something I'm working towards.
Okay, I'm like getting chills just listening to you, because it is so fun to see someone who obviously loves his wife and children, who has overcome so much and made changes in your own life. And then to hear you talk about, okay, well, what do I want to create? I mean, I think so many I know Eric and I can totally relate to you in wanting to take your passion and spread it and learn how to do that and be able to help other people in the process of being able to fund your family and be able to have money to help other people and to be able to visit your relatives and build that family culture. I mean, there's so much power and excitement, and it's so neat to know that all of this is totally possible. I mean, you can see it. You can see, okay, like, it's not going to happen maybe everything I want tomorrow, but I could build my business. I could teach a class. I could get some more clients. I could, grow and grow and grow. And then I could use that money to do whatever I want to do. What do we want to do with it? Did you have something else you want to add?
No, like I said, it's actually, when we teach the class, we always ask in that 8th and final modules, we're kind of explaining the program. that 8th module is what it's all about, right? We're not trying to become organized. We become email ninjas and master processors and project managers. It's so you have the time and the energy and the margin in your life to focus on the stuff that you want personally and as a family and in your professional endeavors and stuff. So my question is actually going to be like, what is a goal or dream you have professionally and personally? And I think you actually already answered that with April there, but it's just awesome. When you start thinking of, a really fun trip or vacation you could take with the 4 of you as a family and have an experience that's maybe both educational and experiential, but also is going to unite you and create some shared memories and experiences as a family. I mean, it's fun to be able to now say, okay, I have the time, the mental bandwidth, and I'm moving ourselves into a place where financially all those resources now can align so you can create that experience there. So that is just phenomenal. I love that. Maybe a quick question I'll ask on the side of that is, what differences have your wife and your children noticed, or how have they kind of integrated into your efforts as they've seen you making some changes? What have they done as well?
Did you do it in secret, or do they know what you're doing?
So I actually did it in secret at first.
Really?
My wife knew it. Yeah. So,
a lot of people do. A lot of people, they're like, I don't know if it's going to work, and I don't want to upset my spouse.
I'll do my own little experiment, see how it goes, and if it's good results, then I'll let people know.
Okay,
right?
So you did it in secret. Then what?
Yeah, and then there are certain times when my wife would say, "Oh, do you take care of that?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I have it on this date," or I have it next time I go run errands. I have this on my list, and different things. If my kids brought like drawings and things like that, so I would take a picture of them with their drawing and put it in Evernote and not have to worry about holding on to their drawings. Like every single drawing they make, they're 5 and 3 years old. There's a ton of drawings that
we get it.
So
is your wife ever like, where's my husband and what have you done with him, right? Who are you and what have you done with him?
Well, she always viewed me as organized, but I think now I took it to, even though I was just really fighting fires, but now being able to take it to the next step and to actually feel organized, not just look organized on the surface, made a huge difference. So,
I love that distinction, to actually be organized and feel instead of just look like it. That is a great distinction. I hadn't thought about it that way.
That is so exciting. Okay. And so now she knows you're in the program though.
Yeah.
She's like, sees you come out on this podcast, shows up in her Facebook feed. No. Okay. So maybe just as we're kind of getting ready to close, any final words of like encouragement that you would offer to someone, I mean, particularly someone who is like you, maybe a husband and father. I mean, of course, all of our community can benefit from it, but I specifically want this perspective from a husband and father who is in the middle of, working, building a side business, moving forward on goals, someone who wants to be there, but just feels like it's just too hard, they're just not 100% sure they can do it. What would you say?
Yeah, so I think I would tell someone in a similar situation is that as much as we men like to think that we can do everything, at a certain point we can't do everything all at once. Mm-hmm. And there are times when we really have to understand our weaknesses and understand our time restraints, and to be able to put things on hold, to be able to focus on specific things and knock them out so we can have that feeling of success, and then we can keep on working on the next thing. And also the fact that not everything is our responsibility per se. Like I know my wife gets a magazine, has some recipes in it. So we got a lot of these different magazines and we pull out the recipes from it to be able to put it into a cookbook. So I was thinking, okay, I'll make a cookbook out of it. But instead I realized, you know what, I can let my wife do that. And that's something she is interested in doing. Or otherwise it could be a someday project for me. So it's really the fact that be able to knowing when to take on projects, when not to, how to tackle them when you need to, and to be able to have everything in a clear-cut system where you know your deadlines, you know when everything's supposed to happen, you know how to follow up with people, and to be able to have that understanding of not feeling like you're drowning, but really everything has a place. It's changed my life, that's for sure.
I love that. No, and I really appreciate how you painted that picture, because I think a lot of times we feel like if I don't do it right now, it'll never get done. And we put that pressure on ourselves. I mean, I still do that. And I'm like, Eric, if I don't fulfill every dream I've ever wanted right this minute, then it might never happen. And I'm giving up on my dreams, right? Or what happens is we think anything that we put off to the side, we don't trust that there's a system that's ever going to bring it back. And in the past, that's how I was. I'm like, I didn't have a system. So if I thought, oh, well, maybe I'll do it someday and I stick it in a box, I probably will never open that box again. And then new ideas are going to come and I feel like it's like a sense of loss that you feel almost every day. But you're so right. When you have that system and you know, okay, that's a someday project. Yes, these recipes are great, but is that the most important thing I need to do with my time right now to meet my goals? Probably not right now, but it's a someday because I respect that this is a project we both want. But hey, my wife could do this too. Like if she wants to make it a higher priority, she could do it. I think that helped me and Eric a lot, where we would sit down and look at projects together. And prior to this, we would kind of get frustrated with each other. Like, hey, Eric, I wanted you to work on this. And he's like, well, it's not my highest priority right now. I'm like, well, I thought it was. Why is it? And so we weren't really aligned with projects. But then now we sit down and I open Asana and I say, okay, here's what I'm working on. How do you feel about this? Is there anything that you think needs to be deprioritized, or do you have any other ideas? And then we can actually look at it, where if he has an idea and says, oh, hey, we actually should get this done, we can actually look together and consult and say, okay, should it go above this? Should it go below this? And then we can get more on the same page, because there's nothing more frustrating than working along someone you love and not being on the same page. It's so frustrating.
That's another definition of insanity, right?
I know. Get on the same page. Let's get on the same page so that we can work together. So
I was going to say, you can also tell just how powerfully you're using this step system, this step approach in your own life. I mean, you've mentioned in passing that, that would be a someday project, right? Where that would go. So, like I've got a place for it. And those who are listening, we would have a chance to actually be looking at Avi's, we're recording this. But when he was talking earlier in the conversation about, I got all my projects out of my head, did that mind sweep or that brainstorm. It was interesting to watch, like your facial expression, like there was like this light and kind of this relief.
Yeah.
Because I think most of us are trying to work on 20 or 50 or 100 projects at the same time. And we all have limits on our time and energy. When you spread that over so many projects, very little happens. When you're able to say, okay, I got all the projects out of my head, then my mind could actually be at peace. I could relax and know, okay, I know what the projects that are important to me are, but I don't have to think about them continuously. I can focus on a few, get those done, and then move on to the next ones. And you can just tell you're doing that masterfully to be able to move yourself forward in the direction of your dreams, right? And that's what we really want for each of our community members. So I really appreciate you sharing that. It seems like you're doing it really well.
Yeah. And, and as I'm just watching you and as Eric and I are having this conversation with you, I feel thrilled knowing that you are more fully set up to be able to help other people and live your mission in such a powerful way. Because I can see, just the look in your eyes, how much you care about the clients you would be working with, how you want them to have long-term success. You know what you've overcome. Like you have this desire and knowledge and passion. And when all of that's buried because you're on the phone for 20 minutes talking with an insurance agent or something like that,
you're not living your highest
purpose. No,
purpose.
It's so frustrating. But when you can think, oh, I just saved an hour today because I wasn't doing this and this and this. And what you're explaining here, it wasn't adding a whole bunch of more stuff to your life. You're listening to the videos and doing all this stuff while you're driving where you were going to be driving anyway. You could have just been listening to the radio. But you chose to just take a few minutes of time along the way, getting things done that would move you forward. And it's awesome. And then just one little final analogy. I was just thinking about it when you were talking about everything having a place to go and not feeling like you had to do everything at the same time. We just reorganized our pantry this past weekend because it was bad. I mean, it was like everyone would come and just shove things in. And it was
when your kids are teenagers, you'll understand.
Oh my gosh. It was, we were literally like digging through. Anyway, it's set up poorly. So anyway, my son and I organized it and we had this one shelf where we're like, okay, boxes of things like crackers and stuff are here. Bags of things like chips or pretzels are right here. We've got nuts right here. We've got any sweets over here. So it's kind of like now you could kind of figure it out. So after he ate a little snack the other day, he opened up the pantry and he said, a place for everything and everything in its place. And he put it right back where it belonged. And, and for a 16-year-old boy to know, hey, there's a place this bag actually goes and feel a little more confident putting it away. It's the exact same thing as we get older and now we're working on projects. Oh, my wife needs me to make this phone call. Oh, the bill needs to be paid. Oh, I need to create this new class. When you know where to put it, then you can actually sit down and take a deep breath, or you can enjoy your girls. And when they bring you a picture, instead of just being like, oh, nice picture, I've got stuff to do, you're saying, oh, let's smile. Let's take a cute picture. Let's make this memory. I mean, that's going to mean so much to your children, just knowing dad's actually here. He's actually mentally here. He's paying attention to us. I mean, it's pretty amazing what you're doing. Just
you're a rock star. Kudos.
Thanks so much.
So, all right. Well, anything else you want to say before we close?
I really think that it's just a lot of thanks for both of you. I know, April, you mentioned at one podcast that you don't know if any men listen to your podcast, but I was right there. I was listening, getting the information. So thanks so much and I listened to David Allen at one point, the GTD, and like for me personally, and it could be everyone's different, but for me personally, it felt a lot more complicated with him, but you made it so much simpler in terms of just bringing things down in a simple, the microbursts and things like that, it just made it much easier for me to get organized. So thank you so much.
I'm so glad to hear that. Because the thing is, like, I have been a huge David Allen fan for more than 10 years, because he's got the concept so dialed in. He knows his stuff. And he was even saying, I don't know if it's a podcast or when I was at one of his events, he said, I'm one of the laziest people in the world, which is why I was able to come up with a system. Because I was trying to come up with something that wouldn't use all my energy. He's like, I love just being able to, be lazy and not have it cause stress. And I love that. And I think that because of the organizations he's worked with and the level he works, it's a lot of really great theory all put together and then a lot of quick instructions. And our goal is just to be able to build on what he's done. Like, we don't try to replace it. Our goal is to say, hey, how can we make it a little more step-by-step? A little more family-centered. Let's take it into someone who's trying to run a family and do all the professional stuff. And then how can we make it really visual? I like pictures. So, I mean, the first version of our program literally was like me with crayons, drawing things, crayons and markers, and then taking pictures. And it's really fun. Well, it's just everyone learns differently. And so, like what you're doing with health. Yes, are there other people out there who teach health? Of course. But the way that you're going to teach it with your specific clients, it's going to resonate with them because they're going to say, oh, Avi gets me, right? And so that's the thing. It's like each one of us can live our purpose, and there's no competition in living our purpose. All of us can do it, but we're going to attract different people whose needs are, going to be filled by what we have to offer. And I think when we can look at it with this, this abundancy, there's so much room for everyone in the world to be awesome. And there's no reason any of us need to sit around and, feeling like we're overwhelmed. And so I'm hopeful that as each one of us pursues our mission, I believe this is how the world gets changed. The world doesn't get changed with, one or two people being the leaders. It gets changed with each person standing up and doing their part. And so whenever I feel stressed out, like, oh, I should be doing more, I just think, let me just do my role, and then I can empower other people to do their roles. And then all this great stuff can happen, and I don't have to do it all. It feels pretty exciting to see it actually come to pass.
Yes, definitely. It's definitely very true.
I was going to add just one little thought too. For a lot of people who might be listening, we have listeners who are probably in the program and maybe haven't started it or gone very far into it, or others who might be really interested and curious in kind of the program we offer, what we teach. The one thing I'll highlight, and Avi mentioned it, you can do what we've built the system for people who probably feel like they're stressed, they're overwhelmed, they may be drowning, right? The water line's right at their nose or mouth. And what the whole program is designed to do, it's designed to be used in a way that you can do little tiny steps at a time, right? To fit it into the cracks and crevices of a very busy, very overwhelmed life. Just like Avi was describing, finding those, he was thoughtful, he was deliberate about how he kind of found little cracks to put stuff in. But as you do that, you can literally go through that whole program. Like Avi did it in a couple of days. It's obviously self-paced, so you can do it at whatever tempo is best for you. But we love that. We love hearing different people's stories about how they found the way to put these little microbursts into the first couple of days or weeks, and then they start seeing this system emerge, right? This command central or this approach. And then it's just awesome. My favorite part of the whole Facebook group, the community that we have inside of Step Mastery, are reading people's stories, right? About how they're feeling greater confidence or self-esteem, how their relationships are improving, but especially how they're finally achieving these goals and dreams they've always had. And so I love reading those, but it's even more fun to talk with a superstar like Avi here, and be able to hear firsthand, okay, here's what I did, here's how it happened. And I can just get the more of the story. Because,
We're so excited for you.
And not to hold, I want everything. Avi's like a unique case that only he could do that, but he's done an amazing job. And we're just convinced, as we've talked to people over the years, that anybody, as they come in and apply simple principles that are clear and focused in a consistent way, you're going to be able to get results. I'm sure you're seeing that, Avi, with your health clients. As they do things simply and consistently, or if you're an organization, you're going to get amazing results if you just put your mind to it and put a little bit of time and energy into it. So it's just awesome to see your results and see what you're able to accomplish because of that.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I'm definitely not a superstar.
We might be sending you a superstar t-shirt, so just be careful.
Okay, we will put a link or information where our community members can get in touch with you if they want to find out more about what you do and maybe learn more from you. So we'll put that on our show notes page. But otherwise, we will just see you in the Facebook group, Avi. And those listening, we'll see you guys online as well.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody. Thanks for listening in.
All right. Did you love that as much as I did? Avi inspires me. And after Eric and I recorded that with him, we were just in such a good mood all day because we're starting to see real people. Well, we've been saying this for a while, but real people have real change and achieve their potential, live their mission, serve their families, do amazing things just because they're no longer buried in all the stuff. Avi went through our program quickly. He implemented it so quickly. He's getting results. And that's what we want for you as well. If you have not yet come to our introductory class, it's at learndobecome.com/step. We have new people coming in every single day, and the momentum is building. Eric and I are amazed. We're thrilled. We're so excited. And we're working really diligently here behind the scenes to be able to make this happen. So come to the show notes page to learn more about Avi, to learn more about our STEP system, and just see a quick review of what we covered today. Again, that's learndobecome.com/episode 64. All of our podcasts are on iTunes. If you want to also leave a 5-star review, we would love that. We want to get this message out to the whole world because I honestly believe a command central on every desk will change the world. Think about how much time, just think of maybe one city, even just one city in the United States. Think about all the time that's wasted each day because someone forgot to put something on their calendar or forgot a deadline or had to backtrack. Think about all of the money, really, that's wasted every single day because people are drowning in details. Think about the money even just that you have slipping through the cracks right now. We had someone in our community post that they went through and looked at all of their monthly recurring billing and found $400 a month that they were spending on things that they weren't using. So they were able to cancel that, and now they have $400 more a month just by getting on top of things. There is so much goodness and light and joy available for each one of us. And whenever we're feeling weighed down, I believe that there are simple things that we can do to get that weight lifted. And yes, sometimes we have to be patient with some things, and sometimes we need to acknowledge that other people have their choices. And sometimes we need to narrow down all the stuff that we're working on and simplify our lives. But I want you to have a life where you wake up excited and you go to bed content. It is 100% possible. Thank you for being with us here at learndobecome.com. I hope that you'll tell your friends about what we're doing and hope that more than anything, you'll implement what we're trying to teach here at Learn, Do, Become, and you'll get results in your life and you'll feel pretty excited every day about what you are able to do as you live your mission. No one wants to close the day feeling like, oh, I just failed, or I got nothing done, or I spun my wheels all day, or I procrastinated all day. We don't want to live like that. We want to live each day knowing that we were being sensitive to the needs of others, we were doing good work, we were contributing, we're becoming more secure and stable and healthy, and that we're able to then help other people to do the same. We're thrilled you're here. Looking forward to doing much more with you. I'm about to jump into some projects today that I'm super excited about. There is a lot going on behind the scenes here at Learn to Become. We're taking it in a very measured way because Eric and I don't want to burn ourselves out. So we're just doing a little bit at a time. But it's pretty awesome to see what's happening. So more is coming soon. Just know that we've got your back. We're here for you. And the whole community is awesome. So if you haven't yet joined our Step Mastery community, you need to come in because we have thousands of people who are doing awesome stuff. And you get to hang out with Avi too. Okay. All right. Take care. Have a great day. And we'll see you soon at learndobecome.com.